I'm working on a video about a Pokeball that can absorb anything, and at one point, well, we travel inside the Pokeball. But what does it look like when you're inside a Pokeball? Is it a big void? A digital simulation? Is it like a realm of inescapable nightmares? I'll just consult the Pokemon wiki. Let's find this out. Yep. No one knows. Before we get any further, there's brand new merch this year. That's right, it's the Deconstructed Quarter logo. It's a classy little thing we're doing on hoodies and t-shirts. This is a limited design that's gonna be on sale for the next 9 days. So if you're interested in snagging one, head on over to quarterdigital.store. See you there.
What do you think it's like on the inside of a Pokeball?
I think the inside of Pokeball looks like a CVS. The Pokemon just wanders up and down the aisles and can't find what he's looking for, and then eventually he just gets called up for battle.
I would like to think it's like their own little like studio apartments.
The lore would have you believe it's like a little condo with like everything they need in there. I think that is probably a lie. I feel like it's like a Matrix pod, man. They're put in a stasis, they're shoved in there, medically induced coma.
Think about every time you've seen one like open up, it's just blinding. I think they keep them in stun lock, just in a bright environment.
It's like a constant flashbang.
Yeah, never-ending flashbang. And when they get out, they just want to fight anything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It keeps them hyped up for the
Keeps them
battle.
ready.
Day.
Imagine someone's throwing flashbangs at you for days, and then you finally get let out, and it's like, hey, as long as you're willing to fight, you could stay out of that environment. I will fight for you.
I'll do
just
anything.
don't,
Just
please don't flashbang me anymore, please. I can't take it.
I don't know, I kind of subscribe to the idea that like it's stasis lock. It's kind of like the life of a photon. Photons don't experience time either.
I mean, I guess they kind of turn into a bunch of photons.
Ooh, maybe that's why. You are turned into light, and so therefore you're traveling at the speed of light and you never experience time. It's like you're getting sucked up one moment and the next moment you're getting sucked out.
So I thought this was gonna be an easy video because it's like they've shown the inside of a Pokeball a million times. We'll just look up the episode where they show it, and that's what we'll make it look like, right? Turns out I got Mandela affected, and they do not show this at all in the show, which is super weird, right? What are they hiding from us? I feel like there's two paths forward here. The first is we can consult the game's lore, and the creators have spoken about it a little bit. It's kind of inconsistent, but maybe we can piece something together there. If that doesn't work, well, I mean, this is a live action video. Why not just use like hard science and figure out what it would look like for real using like physics or quantum mechanics? I'm sure that between these two paths, we can find a definitive answer of what it looks like inside a Pokeball. In the show, we see a creature, they turn into like white energy, and then all the energy gets absorbed into the Pokeball. If you're going to convert a creature into pure energy, it's going to make an insane amount of energy. So insane that it makes us have to whip out the old E = MC² equation. For example, an average human weighs about 70 kilograms, and if you're going to convert that mass into pure energy, you're going to get about 6.29 quintillion joules. That's enough energy to power humanity for 3 to 4 months. Your neurons in your brain travel anywhere from 6 to 224 miles an hour. But once you turn into energy, they're gonna start traveling at the speed of light, which is roughly 7 million times faster than that. If your neurons are traveling at the speed of light, that means your thoughts will be too. You would be thinking so fast that time would appear to slow down for you, possibly to a standstill. Extreme time dilation would take over as you're absorbed into the Pokeball in what seems like an eternity. Okay, so now that you're actually inside the ball, what does it look like? Well, in this instance, basically a black hole. And if you're stuck in there, well, you've got what will feel like an eternity to think about it before you're released. And I would imagine it would probably break your brain so hard you'd come out only being able to say one word, like the name of your species. Pikachu, Bulbasaur, Hodor. This doesn't seem right at all. This is downright frightening. I don't think nothing would look very good on camera either, so there's gotta be a better option. Well, in this episode of the original series, we see a moment where Psyduck is in a hollow void. In the manga, Pokeballs have been shown to be translucent and have Pokemon just shrunken down inside them. In a way later episode of the anime, we have a potential peek into the interior of a luxury ball, but none of what we've seen has been very consistent over the years. So maybe there's someone higher up on the Pokemon team that can clear this up for us. We can draw knowledge from Junichi Masuda, one of the founders of Game Freak. He said, "I think it's safe to say that it's very comfortable inside of a Pokeball. It's a very comfortable environment, maybe the equivalent of a high-end suite room in a fancy hotel." And this makes sense, because if we dig a little more, we find this trophy entry from Super Smash Bros. That says, "Pokeballs contain an environment specially designed for Pokemon comfort." Okay, that's something at least, despite being a throwaway description for a collectible in a non-canon crossover game. But wait a second. Is it a hotel room or a hotel room sized natural environment? If it's a hotel suite, then I guess I would be comfortable in it, and probably even like a little Charmander. But what about a Pokemon like Snorlax? He's huge. So maybe the inside of a Pokeball adapts to whatever is inside of it. So the Ritz-Carlton in downtown LA has a high-end suite that is about 1,200 square feet. So we can estimate that that's about maybe 12,000 cubic feet in volume. A person is about 2.5 cubic feet of volume. That's a 4,800 cubic feet to 1 ratio for a high-end suite to a human. Let's apply that to Pokemon. So what about a Charizard? He's listed at 5'7", but he's got a lot more gut and girth. So I would estimate he's got about 8.5 cubic feet of meat on him. Using our ratio, he would need 40,000 cubic feet of volume to stay in. That's not like suite status anymore. That's more like a starter mansion. And that's not even the largest Pokemon. That title belongs to a legendary Pokemon called Eternatus, which would need a suite that's actually the size of a Costco. Oh look, these fans have been waiting in line all day to make some space for the big guy. That's so nice of them. The hotel suite theory kind of makes sense, but it starts to lead us in circles. Like, how did all this stuff get into here? Is this all made of matter, or is this like a hologram? Because if it's real matter, then these Pokeballs are gonna weigh a ton. You know, you can't carry like a studio apartment on your belt. This actually leads us to the conclusion that this world in the Pokeball would have to be completely digital, like a virtual simulation inside these balls. That means to travel into them, the Pokeball is actually erasing your matter and then storing it in digital memory, effectively converting and storing your present state as an AI living in a simulated world. And when you're released, the new matter is recompiled at the same quantum state as when you entered. And this theory, it holds a lot of water, honestly. It allows the user to carry multiple balls since they don't have the density of a neutron star. It also allows the creature within to exist within a comfortable universe tailored for their specific species and size. And it allows me to visualize the inside of a Pokeball any way I want. Wait, what? I was looking for a specific answer, and now I have to decide between everything? So, I guess I'm back to square one here. And, I mean, regardless whether or not I've got this visual figured out, I do need to start filming because we are on a deadline, so.
Oh, hey! I'm in a Pokeball! Sam said I couldn't come out until I sell at least one Squarespace subscription, so I'm gonna tell you how cool it is. If you wanna run a business, you're gonna need a website. And if you want a website, you're gonna have to design it yourself. That sounds really scary, but not if you use something like Squarespace, where they have a bunch of design templates as well as an intelligent design helper that can let you just use plain English and your regular old mouse and keyboard to click and move things around to build your very own website right to your needs. And of course, you're gonna run a business off a website. You're gonna need fancy things like a way to process payments, or like a storefront, or maybe membership pages or parts of the website that's only locked off to subscribers. Well, you know what? Squarespace has you covered. It has all of these advanced features, so you can take credit card payments, you can set up members-only sections, you can do storefronts, you can do all this stuff through Squarespace. We've used Squarespace here at Corridor. My wife has used Squarespace for her business website for a decade. It's great. If you want to check this all out for yourself right now, you can. And when you're ready to make a purchase, you go to squarespace.com/corridorcrew and you'll get 10% off your first website or domain. And it's when that happens that I'll hear a little ding and I'll finally be able to leave this Pokeball. If you're looking for it, link's in the description below. So there you go. Click on that and there it is. All right, let's go check up on Sam. So we had the honor of hosting, or I should say we have the honor of hosting a YouTube Butyl coming out here, I think in March. It's going to be a celebration of the visual effects community on YouTube. And we have this cool video that we got to star in that YouTube produced of us kind of introducing all these cool visual effects channels and talking about all the cool things happening in the community here. The crazy thing about it is that because we're hosting it, we're kind of the face of it right now. And you know, they shot this really produced video, which is amazing, except we now need to make sure that we have a cool video coming out on our channel channel when the Udall drops, because we want to make a good first impression. So when they come on over, we want to show them a cool short film. So Sam has taken it upon his shoulders to be the guy that does that. Yeah, you know, no pressure, but all the eyes of the public on YouTube will be turned towards us, and we need to impress them.
We're here at the park to film the beginning of the video. I don't know, it's about 5 or 6 setups, but they're long ones, you know? This isn't a video about individual shots here. These are long takes about performance, improv. So, you know, we're gonna take our time.
Check it out. I made the world's first portable optimizing kinetic endosphere, and it's equipped with a biological acquisition lasso laser.
Huh?
Ah, it's pretty cool, look at that. The biggest challenge I've had so far today was just memorizing that acronym that is Pokeball, but it's actually Portable Optimizing Kinetic Endosphere with a biological acquisition lasso laser. It's hard to say, man.
It's kind of sinister not to actually establish what happens in a Pokeball for the show. Like, if they're injured in a battle, they can't be sitting in that ball going, ah, my arms are broken, like for, you know, until you take them to the hospital. It kind of brings up that other question that you've heard before, like, if you teleport, if all your atoms are disassembled and then reassembled in another spot, did you not just kill yourself and make a copy of yourself? So like, every time Pokemon's coming out of the Pokeball or going into it, are they dying? And the Pokeball is just reassembling a copy of them? Is that why Pikachu doesn't like going to the Pokeball? Because Pikachu's aware of all the souls that are being stacked up.
That's it for the park. Now it's on to downtown to film the last 2 shots of the video.
This is hot. This is heavy. I can feel the height. I haven't seen it, but it feels tall.
And then tomorrow we get to film at our studio where we have a cop car. And more importantly, we have Brett reprising his role as the police officer 01.
What's up, Austin? The son, you're back reprising your roles.
I am back once again as a cop. You know, I have a blast being characters where I can kind of just show my face for a little bit and then just get death instantly.
You know, with these world's largest videos, shooting on an iPhone makes it real simple. You don't got a lot of gear, you don't have a lot of extra stuff. The thing that I'm unsure about is the VFX. I don't know exactly what Sam's plan is for all these big Pokeball inside the Pokeball virtual world shots. So this pressure's on for Sam to get this thing done.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Yeah. Is that a wrap?
We're gonna.
Is that a chicken salad wrap?
I feel good. Very tiring. Will I be able to finish all the VFX in time? I have no idea. Even though we have like a lot of people at our studio, everyone's really busy right now working on other stuff. So I might have to just kind of do a Sam special on this. We'll find out. Yeah, so basically, I've been working on the more advanced effects in this video, being people getting sucked into the balls, people getting shot out of the balls. That stuff is challenging. And I thought, you know what, rather than like front load this experience with doing the easy shots, let's start with hard ones. Because basically I was like, you know what, I'm gonna knock out these interior Pokeball shots pretty quickly because I have a clear idea of how to do them. But the moment I started working on them, yeah, kind of threw out the whole plan. I've attempted to track all the shots. Some of them work, some of them need additional tracking. I started to rotoscope and like mask out one shot to isolate them, and it looks like total butt cheeks. And then also, more than anything else, I started doing some tests here, and I'm just like, ugh. If these guys are getting trapped in like a white void, like I always imagined it was a white void, but I'm just not really feeling it yet because it's, I don't know, that effect just feels so minimalist to the point where it starts detracting from the shot. And when it's too simple, it instead brings the attention now to the actual problems in the visual effects, which are just the bare bones tracking, roto, all that stuff. Oof. So I'm trying to find out something that's a little more visually interesting. And that's pretty hard right now. This is based on like semi-realistic conceptual physics concepts, so it can't just be like a pixelated Minecraft island in there. It has to be something that looks like it's messing with time and space a little bit. Technically, I have 6 days left. It's looking like I'm not gonna hit that. So
You do have Jordan helping for one shot though, right?
he's helping on one shot, yes. He's working on one of the hardest shots too, so it's huge.
I'm sucking cities.
So yeah, Sam came to me with a shot. It's the last shot in the entire Pokeball video. It means a lot to me that I do this well. We've got this big oneer where we're transitioning into the scene, adding skyscrapers to the skyline. We've got cranes that are working to attach this Pokeball to the back of a space shuttle and then have all of that suck up as well, basically turn into particles. So it's a lot going on, but I do have a working system for sucking any building you want. You can suck non-stop. The way that the system works is I'm using what's called the pyro source spread inside of Houdini, where I can choose an ignition source of temperature and basically cover the entire building in fuel. This is like mass arson. And I can light a certain section of it and that burn will spread over the entirety of the building. This is where the particles are going to emit from, the sucking particles, so to speak. So in this way, I can create a trail of sucking that only lasts a little bit of time, right? Because
Did you say a trail of sucking?
yeah, you never been? He creates a trail, I'll call it a trail of burning. Would that make you feel better?
That feels better.
But yeah, point is we get this band of burning and then take the position of the Pokeball in 3D space and put an attractor in the middle of it and basically say, hey, any particles that exist in the scene, come to me. On top of that, I can take this same band and I can basically say, hey, if you've already been burned, you shouldn't even exist anymore. It's
just what you say to real life burn victims.
Yeah, it's why I'm not a doctor. So it's actually eroding the building and it does give the illusion that the building is actually being evaporated. Now that the system's been built, I can simply apply it to every single building and crane and the spaceship and the foreground, ground, and all the stuff in the scene to create that cohesive sucking effect. That said, I still need to do it now. There's a lot of simulations ahead and we don't have much time. Thankfully, we have Casey in-house. So Casey Ferris is actually a YouTuber in his own right. He does a lot of Resolve and Fusion tutorials and has a course and all that good stuff. And him and his editor, Dan, have graced us with their presence for a month, kind of like Markiplier did, like just kind of getting a vibe and hanging out and helping where they can. And he couldn't have come at a better time, truly, because I've already given him a task in this shot in particular to help rebuild some of the geometry that's missing. The thing about Sam is he's a one-man army. He's been working so hard on this all by himself, so it's nice that we're getting more people involved. In hopefully a way that doesn't kill Sam. That's my goal. I wanna kind of suck away some of the stress, you know? Wait, you know what I'm saying though, like, no, hold on. I feel like maybe the way I said it was, please don't put this in the edit. I feel like we got off on the wrong foot.
Well, this video is really hard to make. What does the inside of a Pokeball look like? Well, I've thought about this a lot to the point where maybe I think I'm overthinking things a little bit here. There's a lot of options and they all kind of make a lot of sense. But at the end of the day, I've had to make a decision, which is simply just make it look cool. And in a funny way, I mean, it kind of takes a little bit from each idea and combines them. This is the inside of the Pokeball. As I was writing this video with Niko, he said, it would be funny if this was powered by a black hole. So inside the Pokeball is none other than a black hole at the very bottom that is powering everything. But actually when we're inside of it, we're actually looking through what looks to be kind of like frosted glass. Even though the manga is preposterous, how there'd just be like a little marble with a Bulbasaur in there, for the sake of this video, it does look pretty sweet. And then to kind of spice it up, I just, you know what, like, hey, you know what? I'm a big fan of like time bandits and like that weird cosmic antiquity kind of situation. So on Kit Bash, I was looking around on there for some stuff and they have an armillary. I was like, you know what, that's pretty sweet too. I don't know if the Time Bandits reference is landing.
It also looks like the thing from Ant-Man Quantumania.
Oh, sweet, well there you go.
That's more for the kids.
That's more for the kids, for the Zoomers out there. It's like Ant-Man. That's how this all combines. I mean, it's just, the idea is like, I want it to look cool and it needs to make sense for the story. And the best part, even though it's not perfectly accurate to lore or anything, it's still able to draw from it and also match what we're trying to accomplish at the same time. So I think that's really cool. So if you're watching this, that means the video is out, and that's great because I actually have a lot more VFX to do that aren't interior Pokeball shots that are also super sweet. So if you want to see them, head on over to Corridor Digital. Check it out. It's a sweet classic video. I secretly made this for my son. Oops. Said that out loud.